Good morning all for today's webinar on careers in chemical engineering, the engineering tomorrow's solution, which will be helping our young aspirants and their associates to understand after joining chemical engineering, what can be the different domains they will be able to work for and work in. So before starting our main session, I will request our Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Prabhat Ranjan Sir, to address the gathering. VC Sir, please.
Good morning to all of you. I'm Professor Prabhat Ranjan, Vice Chancellor of DYPIU International University. DYPIU International University has been around for about 6 years. Started operation in 2018 in the Apurdi campus of Pune. We are part of the well-known DYPIU group, which has nearly more than 5 campuses in Pune itself, then Kolhapur, multiple campuses in Navi Mumbai, and more than 180 institutions under DYPIU banner. Our university located in Apurdi campus, which has, in addition to university, multiple institutions. DYPIU International University has been trendsetter for the whole country in many ways. Last 6 years, including our computer science engineering program that we started in 2019 that led to change across the country in 2020. We have been leading the country's effort in digital fabrication after our setup in 2019. I was requested to chair the ICT committee of Idea Lab to set up these facilities across the country. 107 centers were set up. Similarly, brain computer phase, we have a strong research group here. I'm also chairman of the European Indian Standards Committee. Working professional program we started for industry like Tata Motors and automotive. That was also picked up AI skills. So in short, the 6 years that we have spent within that, the steps we have taken has led to change across the country. This moment of India's history is very important. We are in the best situation in last 1,000 years. And India right now is third largest economically in purchase power parity point of view, fifth largest GDP wise. By 2027, we expect it to be third largest economy GDP wise. And according to my estimate, something that I had talked about in a panel in London in October, that India is likely to become #1 economy in the world by 2047, 2050. Now, in this, there are 3 sectors which are playing a very important role. One is the manufacturing sector, infrastructure sector, and the semiconductor. So DYPIU International has taken steps to initiate programs with complete change in the curriculum and the facilities to make sure that we align with India's growth. The first time in the country we started semiconductor engineering program, BTech semiconductor engineering program. Then we started BTech mechanical, chemical, and civil engineering program. All these 3 programs you will learn more about as we go along have been completely revamped. In our workshop that's used for all engineering programs is being completely changed. We've just removed all the old equipments and we are renovating completely with facilities of additive manufacturing, subtractive manufacturing, hybrid facilities, and formative manufacturing. In the chemical engineering is a very important part, and the manufacturing sector, we are expecting a lot of shift happening from China to India. So from China, the shift is happening to India, Mexico, and Vietnam. I'm also advisor to global investor, and so we keep track of what is happening in the world. Now, so manufacturing sector, I'm expecting it to grow very fast. And chemical engineering plays a very, very important role in that. Now, Pune-Mumbai sector is very, very important from chemical engineering point of view. With chemical engineering, as you will come to know, is not only chemical engineering the way we think, but also pharma sector, many other sectors chemical engineering has impact. Now, each of these, what we are also doing is to bring the latest, that is development that is happening in the technology point of view. For example, artificial intelligence is playing a very important role. In the last 2 years, generative AI has picked up in a very, very strong way. It's disruptive thing. Generative AI applied to design has come in the form of generative design. Generative design and the digital fabrication completely changes the way we do prototyping and so on. So similarly, the digital twin concept we are bringing in. So what we expect that the curriculum that we are setting for chemical engineering, along with the facilities that we are modifying and revamping, would become the trendsetter for the whole country again. And considering the growth potential of manufacturing sector and related to chemical engineering, this is the best period for students to actually participate in this core engineering branches. So I would invite my speakers as we go along to make sure that the details are provided to potential students. And if there are any questions, they can answer that. So I'll stop at this point, and thank you very much for the inviting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now, the guest of the day is Mr. Asif Sheikh. So let me introduce our guest for the webinar. Asif Sheikh is an accomplished professional with over 13 years of experience in the digital solution consulting, field, project management, systems and implementation, product support and sales support. He's having an experience for oil and gas industry, fertilizers and petrochemical industry. After completing his graduation from University of Pune in 2009, he have joined the industry. Before joining his current job at KTR as a principal consultant, he had worked with Honeywell and Tata Consultancy Services at different portfolios. His key areas of expertise includes the conceptualization, design, and implementation of various information management systems like operation management, performance management, asset and reliability management, field round management, alarm management, regulatory compliances management, enterprise visualization, 3D digital twin, and historians. He has worked extensively on AI/ML and data analytics in last few years and had a broad technology system and industry expertise, which is a need of the day. So his projects have covered process operations, quality, maintenance, inventory, EHS for refining petrochemicals, fertilizers, and midstream industries. His experience includes architectural design and integration with enterprise systems such as SAP, LIMS, planning, scheduling, and control systems. A strong industry business experience enables him to design and analyze business as well as formulate solutions aligned with the client's business requirement using ISA 95 standards. So without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Asif Sheikh for enlightening our aspirants with the various career opportunities in the chemical engineering field. Asif sir, over to you.
So good morning, everybody. Let me share my screen. Are you all able to see my screen and hear me properly?
You're audible, but the screen is not visible right now.
Okay, I have already shared.
Yeah,
let's wait for it to come.
Yes, it's there.
Okay. Okay, so thank you very much for the introduction. So today we are going to discuss what are the different opportunities one can have after joining chemical engineering or taking chemical engineering as a career approach, forward. Okay. So let me start with some basic things like many times people think that chemical engineering must be only related to chemistry. So students who are in 12th, whenever they think about chemical engineering, I don't want them to just think about people wearing white apron and doing something in the labs. It's not like this. In chemical engineering, we learn all these different subjects like what are the mass transfer, heat transfer operations happens, how different chemical plants are designed, how they are operated, what are the different digital solutions work there, and so on and so forth. So you can see we learn all these different subjects. These are the main subjects definitely which we learn in 4 years of chemical engineering. So we learn process calculations, we learn thermodynamics, we learn equipment designs, how reaction works, chemical reaction engineering, process dynamics and control, process modeling, simulation, and chemical plant engineering. And all these subjects makes a person a very good chemical engineer, so he can work in different fields. So he can either work in plant operations, he can work in a design field, he can work in automation field, and also all these things we learn. Okay, so in first year of your engineering, all the subjects are common. So you learn all the basic subjects, whether you are going for chemical engineering, computer engineering, ENPC. But from second year onwards, your focus shift to chemical engineering subjects only. Okay, so which are the which are the chemical manufacturing companies? So these are different oil refineries, petrochemicals. So these are the biggest chemical manufacturing companies, we can say. So and you can understand the scale of it. So each and every person is a customer of these companies, right? So these are such a big companies. So oil refineries are there, petrochemicals are there, different chemical companies are there. Then pharmaceutical companies are also chemical manufacturing companies only, right? So n number of companies are there, and then chemical engineer works in these companies, and they play different roles over there. Okay, so some of them work as a process engineer. So there is a technical services department in each of these companies. So their role is to look after how my entire production is happening, and whatever demand they're getting from the SAP system, it is being executed well or not. Are they getting proper yield? Are there all assets are having a very good effectiveness, right? So they are being used like 99% or 100% and all these things, right? So and they also do data analytics, etc., etc. They prepare different reports like daily operation reports and all. Then there are people who work as an operation engineer. So they are the people who mainly sit in the control system, control room, and they operate the plant. At the same time, some of them work in field, so they take field rounds, they see different parameters and things like that. Okay, then chemical engineers also work as a process safety engineer. So there are different safety angles of it, because these are chemical plants. So there are different things they needs to be they need to be checked at regular intervals. So some of them work over there. Then as a quality engineer, so how to check quality of different products or raw material or intermediate products. So all these companies have different labs set up over there. They take different samples, and they need some lab technicians to perform a proper check and validate quality of all these materials. Okay, and then all these companies also have R&D centers, because each of them want to do better than what they are doing today, right? So in different R&D centers, chemical engineers play again a very important role to see like how they can improve the yield of certain products, how they can minimize the energy consumption, or how they can have more eco-friendly processes. So what they can do in that area. So all these are different roles chemical engineers play, and definitely I have a limited space on the slide, so I have just given you some examples. So there are n number of companies you can easily relate from these examples. Okay. Then next line is in engineering, procurement, and construction. So we generally call them as EPC companies. So what these EPC companies do is whatever plants we see, these companies perform feed study of them, like how to design the plant. They do procurement of different equipment, so they do vendor management. They construct these different plants, and then they start these plants with commissioning activities and etc., etc. Okay, so again, when we are designing, when chemical engineer works in these EPC companies, uh, they need chemical engineers to play a very crucial role, because ultimately we are talking about different designs and calculations, and how much flow should be maintained, how thermodynamics of different flow should be maintained, and etc., etc. So chemical engineers play a role of design engineer. They work as a proposal engineer, because you have to manage a lot of vendors, and you have to take a best material out of different vendors. And of course, solution consultant. So some of them work as a high level consultant of how things should fall in place in the right order. So again, these companies are here in India and abroad as well. Most of the companies have offices in India, but again, chemical engineers can work from India or from abroad offices from these companies. Okay. Next line I can see is of process licensor companies. So whenever there is a different a chemical plant, so whatever chemical plants you see are available today, or they're going to come in upcoming time, they all have to purchase license from their proprietary licensor. Okay, so it's like whenever we use a laptop, we always have to take license from Microsoft, from Windows, right? So is similar. So you can imagine like how big money these companies must be earning, right? So these are different companies like UOP, KBR, and etc. ExxonMobil. They are having their own licenses in different fields. So they are expert in different process plants. For example, they some of them are specialized in LNG process. Some of them are process expertized in refining processes. Some of them have specialization in fertilizer processes, pharmaceutical processes, etc. And then chemical engineers play a very vital role in these different companies, because uh, whenever any client want to purchase these licenses has to be delivered to the client, and their chemical engineers play a very important role, because they have to communicate all these specs, designs to the EPC companies very well, and they also have to conduct different tests so that they ensure that whatever license they are giving is being implemented correctly by EPC, so that ultimately the end customer or the client will get the desired results out of it, right? And these licenses gets renewed after every few years, so these companies continue to churn money out of it. And chemical engineers play a role of design engineer, technical services engineer, solution architect. And at the same time, these licenses also provide different automation and digital solutions as well. So chemical engineers do play a role in that as well. Okay. Again, these companies are available in India and abroad. So these engineers have an opportunity to work from whichever location they want. Okay. Next line is chemical engineers can also work for automation companies. So from the names, you can understand like Honeywell, Aviva, Emerson, Yokogawa, GE. So all these are automation companies. So what these companies do is nowadays, like whenever you visit any refinery or petrochemical plant, you will hardly find a lot of people while you're roaming in the plant, because everything is being automated. So all your instruments, equipments, everything is automated. So you will find in, let's say, in oil refinery, you will find different control rooms being set up in different plant locations, and operators sitting in control room are actually operating different plants. And who is providing this automation are these companies. Okay, so again, chemical engineers play a very important role over here, because whenever these companies set up these automation solutions, they need to have a good chemical engineering understanding as well, so that they can implement these different technologies there. And then chemical engineers have a very good scope to work in these companies. So they work like as a application engineer, architects, and consultants in these companies. And again, you will see most of these companies have native offices abroad, so American and European companies. So at the same time, they also have offices in India as well. So you have an opportunity to decide geographic location, and you have opportunity to work from wherever location preference you have. Okay. Then from this slide, you may be surprised, like, okay, why chemical engineers have opportunity to work in IT companies? So Actually, we are hearing one word very constantly nowadays, and that's a digital transformation, right? So all these companies are going for this digital transformation. So automation is definitely one part of it, but apart from that, in these chemical companies, there are different departments. So people work in operation department, maintenance department, quality department, regulatory compliance department, safety department, right? And uh, conventionally they are working on papers, or they must be using a basic Excel and Word and things like that, but they have to follow certain business processes, right? So there are different solutions are available who can automate their business processes or work processes, whatever work they do in their day-to-day activity. Okay, and then these companies listed over here are very much interested in implementing these solutions for these different big companies. Okay, and if these solutions are being implemented by these IT companies, they definitely want chemical engineer over there, because ultimately these solutions are being used by the chemical industry, right? So they need people who can understand customer language, who can understand business processes or how a chemical process works, so that they can implement solutions accordingly. Okay, so in such projects, like I myself have worked in TCS. So what I have seen is in such projects, whenever an IT company is implementing such projects, chemical engineers play a very important role. So they are the one who finalize the design of solutions and all. And then there are a number of IT folks out there who help implement those solutions. So again, chemical engineer play a role of system engineer, functional consultant, and at the same time, we can provide chemical engineer can provide support to the end customer in their day-to-day activities if they find any issues. Okay. At the same time, uh, this is one line. Like as a chemical engineer, you can work in these IT companies. At the same time, even if you want to go in a core IT work, you can still go for it. So like I'm passed out from Singhad College of Engineering, and I have seen like whenever campus placements were happening, many of my classmates who were chemical engineer, who wanted to switch their career, they wanted to go in core IT companies. They sat for different interview rounds and they got selected. And so this is another opportunity. So even if you are chemical engineer, you can still go for IT. Now one question may come in your mind that, okay, but I'm learning 4 years chemical engineering, then why these companies will take me? So the answer of it is, whenever these companies come for the interview, they just check your aptitude, they check your communication skills, they check your analytical skills, and once they are okay with it, it doesn't matter to them whether you are computer engineer, IT engineer, chemical engineer, or civil engineer. They take you because before they put you on the job in their company or on projects, they give you like 3-4 months training. So TCS has a training campus in Trivandrum, Infosys has in Mysore, and all these companies have different centers. So they just teach you whatever is required for your projects, and then you learn rest of the things on your project. And in IT world, technology change very often. So whoever is already working in these different companies, they also have to learn new technologies almost every year and so on. So that's another angle you can think of. So see the advantage. You are a chemical engineer. Now in fourth year, you have an opportunity, you have a option to go for a different chemical engineering related work opportunities. At the same time, you also have an option of IT, going into IT world. But if you are a computer engineer or IT engineer, you just have this option open. So that's the difference. Okay. Another line is, there are big four companies. You might have heard their name. So these are management consulting companies. So these companies provide different solutions in different areas. Okay, so they give solution to government, they give solution to civil companies. At the same time, they give solution to different chemical companies. Okay, so it's like how to improve your yield, how to perform digital transformation in your company, etc. etc. How to minimize the carbon release happening from your plants, for example. So here, whatever projects these companies are taking for the chemical chemical companies, they definitely need chemical engineers to implement them, right? So you also have an opportunity to work for these big four companies. Okay. And then ultimately, some of you definitely want to go for the higher education, so they can go for MTech, MS, and they can pursue a career accordingly. And next is entrepreneurship. So being a chemical engineer, I find is also actually being a chemical engineer also give you a lot of entrepreneurship opportunities. So for example, uh, you want to become one of the vendor of, let's say, sugar factory, and sugar factory want lime and activated carbon and such materials as a raw material. So you can set up your plant, and you can get that vendor code from the respective sugar factories, and you can become a dealer for them. So I just gave you one example. So like that, you can have a career in food technology. You can prepare something and you can sell. So there are a number of opportunities in entrepreneurship as well. So, like I said, if you go for chemical engineering, there are n number of opportunities are there, and you have different career options. So you can choose any one out of it, and that's it from my side. And just one more thing I want to tell, that whenever you will learn this 4 years of engineering, definitely you need to have a good technical skills. So you have to maintain like first class constantly, so that you can sit for different companies who will come for the placement, right? But at the same time, when these companies come for the placement, they check your communication skills, they check your aptitude skills, analytical skills. Okay, so these are the things are equally important. So you just have to pay attention to this as well. And then one more thing, like even if like even if somebody will not complete or get selected in campus placement, uh, again there are n number of opportunities available outside as well. So let me just give you my example. When I passed out from Singapore in year 2009, it was a recession period. So 2008 had a big recession. Okay, so out of our class, like only 6 to 8 students ever got placed. But what others did, they went for the campus placement, and all of them got selected in different companies, and all of them are doing really good. So some of them are working in EPC companies, some of them are working for automation companies, some of them are working for licensors. Many of them are in plant operations because they love to work there. So all of them are doing really good. And some of my friends also wanted to go in a core IT company, so they went there and they made a good career there. So that's it from my side. I hope I have given you enough details so that you can take your decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Asif sir, for this detailed description about what are the different opportunities. Any question from the participants? If anyone have any question, you can ask.
हेलो सर।
Yes, Sanjay ji.
हाँ, ये आसिफ सर ने बहुत अच्छा लेक्चर दिया। एक्चुअली केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग के बारे में जो जो एक्चुअली इतना अलग अलग जगह में जॉब लग सकता है, ये रियली मालूम नहीं था। मैं भी अभी एक R&D में काम करता हूँ। मेरा फिजिक्स बैकग्राउंड है,
Okay.
बट ये इतना मालूम नहीं था। डेफिनेटली मेरे बेटी के लिए मैं इस तरफ जाने के लिए डेफिनेटली बताऊंगा। बट और एक पूछना था मुझे, क्या और भी ब्रांचेस है, जैसे कि मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग है, या अदर ब्रांचेस के लिए ऐसा ऐसा एक वेबिनार रख सकते हैं क्या सर?
हाँ सर,
अलग अलग ब्रांचेस के लिए।
यस, ये सारे प्लान हैं फ्यूचर्स में, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट इंटरवल्स पे, एंड आपको उसका इंफॉर्मेशन भी मिल जाएगा। वी विल हैव योर कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल्स, तो आपको उसका इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगा जो और वेबिनार।
या सर, और एक पूछना था, मेरे ख्याल से पैरा सीईटी के थ्रू भी एडमिशन होता है ना?
एडमिशन के लिए सर आपको हम अपना एडमिशन जो कोऑर्डिनेटर्स होंगे उनको आपका कनेक्ट करवा देंगे, सो आपको पूरा डिटेल बता देंगे प्रोसीजर क्या है पूरा, कि सीईटी है या उनका खुद का टेस्ट एंड क्या प्रोसेस रहेगा, वो पूरा आपको इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगा उसका।
अच्छा सर, यस यस, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
Okay, thank you. Any more question? Okay, so we have got some more questions from the participants through mail. So I will request Dr. Shailesh Ghodke to please discuss those questions.
Hello, good morning, sir. We have received few questions from the participants through email. The first question is, how do you see emerging technologies like AI, machine learning, renewable energy are going to impact on the field of chemical engineering? Okay,
so that's a good question. We are hearing about AI ML almost everywhere. Am I audible? Okay, so yeah, we are hearing about AI ML almost everywhere, right, in all field, and definitely in chemical engineering also it's playing very important role. So in fact, being in a digital solution domain, I'm working on AI ML technology from last few years. So there are different processes in chemical plants where we can apply AI ML and get best result out of it. So one use case I just briefly explain. So for example, you have different equipments which are playing different role in the chemical process, right? And client what conventionally do to check how their equipments are working properly is they check certain parameters like vibration they check, and temperature they check, and noise they check, etc., etc. And after that they used to take decision, okay, whether they want to work on that equipment or not. Okay, but with the help of AI, what we can do is we can train how that equipment was behaving from last few years to the AI model. And AI, what AI can do is, before that equipment will start creating problem. So it's like our car. How we understand the car is creating problem is from noise. So with the help of AI, we can predict that equipment failure like 1 month in advance. And if we have that information 1 month in advance, we can take proper action so that our entire process will not affect. We can arrange raw material required for the repair of that equipment, for example, in time from different vendors, etc., etc. So AI can make such a big difference. So from reactive maintenance, we went to predictive maintenance. So this is just one case. So there are n number of such opportunities are there. For example, previously how emissions were being checked is, we used to check from different analyzers how much NO2 is being released or how much CO2 is being released, and after they were crossing the boundary, then people used to understand, okay, now they have crossed the boundaries. But with the help of AI, before they cross boundaries, we can check very much in advance, and then we can take corrective actions immediately, so that we cannot allow them to cross certain limits. So these are few use cases I just mentioned, but there are n number of use cases where AI can help. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next question is, as you mentioned that chemical engineering has wide spectrum, which area, according to you, would be suitable for the girls after pursuing chemical engineering?
Okay, so for girls, I would suggest like girls might not want to work in operation because the operation plants are at different locations and etc. But they can definitely work for the offices which are there in major cities like Pune, Mumbai, Delhi, Noida, whatever. So which companies are working in these different areas are automation companies are there, then licensor companies are there, EPC companies are there. So girls can opt for such companies, and these are high paid jobs as well.
Okay, okay, sir. Let us take next question. I want to become entrepreneur after my graduation. What opportunities can chemical engineering give me?
Yeah, so like I said, there are a number of opportunities are there. So like I gave an example of if you want to supply raw material to sugar factory which is nearby to you, so you can check what are the raw materials they want, and if you can get a vendor code from them, you can start supplying them. This same thing is applicable for different chemical companies, because all these chemical companies, they cannot have produce each and every raw material themselves. They have to purchase from all the different vendors, so you can become one of the vendor for them. At the same time, you can go in a food technology, you can start producing different those items over there, and etc, etc. You can go for biotech, and you can start producing something from there as well. So there are a number of opportunities, I can say.
Okay, let us take the next question. What are the packages offered during early chemical engineering career?
Okay, so it's difficult for me to answer because I'm 2009 passed out. So at that time, the average, actually it varies. So it was between 3 to 5 lakhs per annum at that time. Okay, but and now how much package companies are offering, I really don't know. But that information students can get from different web portals like Glassdoor.
From
Okay,
placement office.
but one thing I want to say to young graduates is that initial package actually doesn't matter. So it's very important to start your career and gain few years of experience, like 2 3 years. And once you decide that okay, this is the field you want to make career, then you can make different switches and you can earn like anything. So initially, I will suggest students not to bother much about early entry level packages.
Yes, experience is more important than the pay packages in the early career of the engineer.
Yeah.
Okay, let us take the next question, sir. What will be the role of chemical engineer in public sector units like Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers, IOCL, and Coal India? What is their role? Sir,
I couldn't hear your question clearly, but you are saying chemical
okay.
engineer role in PSU sector, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Correct, correct.
Yeah. So okay. So I shown my in my slide deck, I see PSU companies, and they all want chemical engineers. They want chemical engineers so that they can implement different engineering projects. They want chemical engineers so that they can run their plant operations. So chemical engineers play a very important role over there. And then how to get into those PSU companies, that you will get to know once you will go in engineering, chemical engineering, because there are different exams I think you have to crack. So when I was doing chemical engineering, I think whoever wanted to go for PSUs, they were going for GATE exams, and based on GATE scores, you were getting admission in those PSU companies. Yeah, so there are a lot of opportunities in PSU, in fact.
Next question is, I want to pursue my higher education. Which kind of higher education, according to you, is going to give me great career opportunities?
Okay, so if you are a chemical engineer and you want to go for the higher education, if you'll go for MS in chemical engineering again, you will have a good opportunity to get into the best company. So let me tell you, Houston in USA is like a main hub of oil and gas companies in the entire world. Okay, so all these big companies like ExxonMobil and all these big companies who invented oil on Earth, they are from Houston. So if you are a chemical engineer and you're going for MS, highly likely that you will end up working in any of such companies in Houston. And then, of course, in higher education, you can go for MBA and you can go for management consulting job. So there are a lot of opportunities out there.
Okay, sir. The next question is, how can chemical engineer collaborate with other disciplines such as biotechnology, environmental science, to work in R&D?
Okay. So actually, if we talk about biotechnology, so it's like a mixture of biology and then what chemical process is required. Okay. So chemical engineering play a very important role over here. So in if we talk about biotechnology, once we crack the formula, okay, from this species we have to produce this, but now you have to scale it. To scale it, you need to think from a chemical engineering point of view, like how to scale it, how to make design, how reactors will play a role, how piping will play a role, how thermodynamics will play a role, how we will decide, how we will increase the yield, and etc. etc. So this is regarding biotechnology. And regarding environmental science, so nowadays we are hearing a lot about carbon capture, right? So this is again one of the example of how environmental science and chemical engineering can collaborate. So there are some startup companies who have cracked the formula of how to efficiently capture CO2 from Earth and store it below the ground. Okay, now they have found the formula, but now they also want a chemical process to implement that, and that's where chemical engineering plays a role, right? So yeah.
Okay. So, next question is, can you suggest certain certification courses during pursuing chemical engineering?
Uh, there are I cannot name them from institutes, but you can. I have seen like there are some institutes who provide like piping courses. So
Okay.
when we see oil refinery, we see always pipes going from here and there, right? So there's a big brain required how to design those pipes, what flow should go, what material it should have, etc., etc., etc. So there are a number of piping courses out there. If somebody want to make career in automation, so there are a lot of courses are there on PLCs, SCADA, distributed control system. All these are there. If somebody want to go for the design job, they can learn AutoCAD and other design tools, right? So that all such certifications you can do. And once you will enroll in chemical engineering, you will understand it on your own, because the syllabus will tell you, okay, I'm learning this, so what is required to be done. So that ultimately you will understand in your journey.
Okay, that were the questions from my side or whatever I have received on email. If any other participant is willing to ask any question, you can please ask. Any questions? Shall we move ahead? Okay, I request Dr. Utkarsh Maheshwari to continue further.
Yeah. So with this, we come. Yeah, sorry. So with this, we have come to the end of the webinar. So I would like to propose the vote of thanks for the webinar. So I would like to first thank Mr. Asif Sheikh, the speaker of the day, for accepting our invitation. Then I would like to thank the management of Dr. D.Y. Patil Educational Complex, Honorable Chairman Sir, Satesh Patil Sir, Honorable Trustee Shri Tejas Patil Sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor of DYPIU, Professor Prabhat Ranjan, Honorable Campus Director, Rear Admiral Amit Vikram Sir, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Sandeep Chatterjee, for allowing us to organize this webinar for the aspirants of engineering and specifically to the chemical engineering background. I would like to thank Dr. Anupma Patil ma'am for constantly motivating us for organizing such events. I would like to thank Dr. Ila Jha ma'am and Dr. Smriti Shelke ma'am for guiding during the organizing of the event. Specifically, I would like to thank all the participants for attending the webinar, and we would be happy to host you at DYPIU for the chemical engineering admissions. Thank you all. With this, I'm going to declare the event as well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.